Hi guys, welcome back to 40 Plus and Unfiltered. Have you noticed recently that anything you now buy, it's total and utter garbage? And I mean pretty much everything. For the past 6 months, we've been working on the camper van conversion, and we had to pick up some bits, some tools, and other bits in between. And the amount of times, right, my husband picked up something that he bought and it's like, oh my god, this is like total and utter garbage. And we talk about the tools, the drill bits, loads of other stuff. Everything is total and utter rubbish. And I thought about it, like, you know what, actually, absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I can relate to this in many, many instances. We're talking from, say, even the clothing now that you wash and you have either holes appearing or stretches in, a couple of washes. Tins, we talk about food, the general tins are gone thinner. Like everything, it just made really, really badly. And we're talking about really, really badly. It's been happening obviously gradually, but it's now come to the point where literally anything you pick up now, it's either falls apart or it's totally unfit for purpose within like a day or so, or it breaks as soon as it reaches the end of its warranty. See, we now seem to be living in a consumer era, as I'm going to say, this where we rely on, or where the companies are relying on us constantly replacing things, okay? And this is what we're going to talk about, like we mentioned, the consumerism and things. Those people are thriving on providing us total and utter rubbish. See, if you look back the old days, right, where people saved up to buy things, be it a TV, electronics, decent clothing, but stuff then was made of quality, okay? The companies then strive themselves on literally producing something that will last you for a very long time. This is where the competition was. People chose better brands, okay, to make sure that when they spend their hard-earned money, things would last them for a very long time. But what is currently happening now is actually called, I believe, planned obsolescence, where the companies, they're deliberately now making sure that the things that me and you buy are actually very bad quality and in fact won't last us a really long time. To see what happens then if, say, for example, a company produces, let's say, a TV, for example, and it's a decent quality, well, technically, you don't need to replace your TV until it really breaks. In the old days, it would last you a very long time. But then these companies understood, well, why on earth they're going to spend so much money to build you a quality product, but in fact, they can actually make more money of producing total and utter garbage that's going to break as soon as the warranty runs out. See, normally people think, well, we're buying cheaper items because we want to save money. And I get it. I totally understand. It kind of the thought is there because, well, if none of us have a lot of disposable income, you still need to buy specific things, then you buy this because it's cheaper, because you think it's going to save you money. But what's currently happens is, I say, you buy cheap, buy twice. My mum always used to say that because it's actually true. Because, if you think about it, whatever you want to buy, yes, initial outlay will be a little bit more to buy a quality item, but it will last you a very long time, okay? At the same time, the opposite, if you are buying something cheap and nasty, yes, it didn't cost you that much, but chances are it's going to break far quicker and you end up buying this again and again and again. And really good example, in my opinion, what I have experienced over the time is clothing, okay? Just bear with me. I used to spend a lot of money on designer clothing, okay? And you think sometimes, like, okay, you spend a few £100s on a pair of boots and you think, what a waste of money. A normal set decent boots for maybe like £50, for example. But what I found, right, and even now I still have some designer boots that I want for a very long time. They're like 10 plus years old and they are pretty much as good as new. Not literally, but they're still going. And to me, if I'm now looking back and thinking, do you know what? If I would have bought a £50 pair of boots, chances are I would have maybe bought another few pairs in between whilst those ones are still going. Hopefully that makes sense. But they're still there, they're fine, they're doing absolutely fine. But see what happens now, even the designer items I found, they don't seem to produce stuff to a good quality. Again, example of the boots, I've got a pair of designer boots for Christmas last year. And yes, there's a good brand, or meant to be a good brand. The thought is there, the quality, but the little things they seem to save on seem to be the paramount things that are really important. And in this instance, it was the sole. So the boots were good, the leather boots, but the sole of the boot was just plastic. And it had nothing on it, there's no indentations, there's no pattern. So basically when you go out and it's wet, you either go into the shop where the floor is shiny, you slip all over the place, especially with a trolley, or if I'm driving and my soles are wet, of course my shoes and my feet are slipping on the pedals. So that makes it kind of, oh, that's a little bit dangerous. So the point is, even the designer things now seem to be not made with a great thought. So now because of that, we really become a throwaway society. We throw away in the UK like 1.4 million tons of clothing on a yearly basis. There's horrendous amount of tons on the furniture that we throw away, amongst many other things. So we are literally now throwaway society because the items that we buy are A, very cheap, and B, absolute rubbish. And of course, because they are designed to fall apart within a few weeks or few months, depending what it is, this is what ends up happening. We're constantly in the rat race of replacing what we are buying purely because of the greed of the companies. See, as I said, a lot of those companies that do make the products now, they skimping on things, right? That's making for them to produce them cheaper, and obviously understanding that for us as a consumer, we will be replacing the items time and time again, and that's of course making them more money in the long run. And this is the whole problem, guys, the whole problem with the society, and the whole problem with the consumerism, where we're now bombarded with total and utter shit, the cheap, nasty stuff that we end up throwing away. There's so many things out there, there's so many places, groups on the marketplaces, on the Facebooks, whatever they are, of people giving away or exchanging. You know, this is kind of thing that used to happen before a lot in the old days, but people seem to now feel it's just easier to throw something away than because you can just replace that. It's like anything, a little cable or something else. Oh, you know, it's only 10 there, it's only 20 quid there, it's not a big deal. But if you do this time and time again, what we end up doing is basically lining the company's pocket. And this is the thing when we're talking about the warranty, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you probably would relate that the stuff that you buy, whatever it is that requires a warranty, be it a kettle, toaster, washing machine, whatever else it is, generally, especially with the smaller appliances or smaller things, it happened many times. As soon as the warranty runs out, in almost to like the next day, the items seem to break. And some of you might think they're actually coincidence, but believe this or not, right? A few years back, I've heard this, that the company specifically design items to break certain time. And you know what? Now, after many years, I do actually believe that. I believe there's some sort of chip or sensor in a lot of items where as soon as the warranty runs out, or as soon as like 24 months or 48 months, whatever it is, they're just designed to break. Because for them, it's we're going to be buying ourselves another replacement. So the whole system is going to be never ending. Okay, whilst we still feed the system of buying total and utter rubbish, buying the cheap stuff rather than thoughtfully maybe thinking of saving up and buying something better, we will be feeding the system all the time. And they're relying on us doing so because this is how they're going to be making money. So the moral of the story is, right, everything is so rubbish right now because those company don't want us to keep the items forever. They want the items to break, so we will need them forever. So there we are, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this video, or at least find this helpful. The only way we can avoid the system, or stop feeding the system with buying the rubbish that we really don't need. So there we are. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Don't forget, thumbs up, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. It is really important to the channel. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye bye.